in the moment there was no moral victories, but it was understanding that our guys were fighting and they were believing. And I knew guys did believe, and they were listening to the message, and they were fighting for the entire staff and for the people inside this building. Mississippi State needed some calmness and needed some stability. And so that's what I was hoping to be able to bring: effort, physicality, and execution. I want people to see us play incredibly hard with great violence and be able to go execute. Football has the ability to drive our community. It's an incredible place. It's a special place that there's great connection. We're not done. We're just getting started.
Coach Lebby, appreciate you joining the pod. Excited to talk to you. Congrats on all your success this season. It's been fun to watch as you're off to a 4-0 start. I want to ask about reflection over the last couple years of your rebuild here at Mississippi State and what you walked into, the challenges when you first got this job and you got it and you were there on week 1. Did you think that you'd be sitting here just a couple years later, 4-0, with some big wins on your resume?
Yeah, obviously that was the hope. Didn't want to put a time frame on it. Wanted to be as good as we could, as fast as we could. Obviously going through, what we went through last year, and being able to have a little bit of success here early on in the season this year, it's been really good for our town. It's been great for our university, our program, all of it. I think people understand how important football is in the South and how our town thrives on us playing well and putting a product on the field that makes everybody inside our community proud. So that part's been really good. You talked and asked a little bit about just as we walked in the door, and our place needed some stability, man. You talk about 4 different head coaches in 5 years, a lot of movement, and Mississippi State needed some calmness and needed some stability. And so that's what I was hoping to be able to bring some energy and some edge and some excitement to our community and our fan base that was wanting it and needing it after everything that had gone on here. So, man, we're just getting started. We got such a long way to go, but I am proud of where we are in the moment right now.
When you got on campus on day 1, your first week on the job, what was the thing that you said to yourself, man, we got to change this, or we got to fix this right away?
Yeah, I think just the energy inside the building, I think, was the biggest thing. There had been so much happen inside these walls over the prior 3 to 4 years, and they needed consistency, they needed energy, and they needed belief. And those were things that I think were very, very immediate for me. And as we hired the staff, making sure the people that sat around that table every single day understood that. And that's what we wanted to create. And again, everything we went through, man, tried like heck to stay incredibly consistent, regardless of what the result was on Saturday, so that these guys understood, man, there was going to be great belief, there was going to be great edge, and we were going to get it flipped and just stay the course and find a way to go get the players that we needed to get right in the off season to give us a chance. And then, fight like heck to go 1-0 every week. So that was kind of the thought process and the mindset as we got into.
Take me back just a couple of years ago. You were, one of the hottest names on the coaching carousel, and people talked about your name in a bunch of head coaching jobs. What was the thing that made this job the one that you wanted to go after and take? Because you're choosing Mississippi State as much as Mississippi State chose you, right?
Sure, I do. I think as I was going through the process and other opportunities had come up, the 2 things to me that had to be musts in being able to go get a job and take a job were proximity to players and support. And we've got incredible proximity to players. The amount of high school talent that's inside our 5-hour radius is special. So that's a huge piece of it. And then there's incredible support. I mean, you're going to see incredible support in there Saturday afternoon at 3:15. You saw it, when we hosted Arizona State week 2, and our fan base is fanatical about being great. And if we had the ability to have those 2 things, man, I love to bet on me and bet on us to be able to go make it right.
Yeah. Not many people have their first head coaching job in the SEC at a place like Mississippi State. During that first couple months or first year, was there anything that you expected it to be like as a first-time head coach and then it was completely different, or anything you're like, man, that was not in my manual for how I was going to handle that situation? Guys, I've tried it all: sports betting, daily fantasy sports. Prize Picks is by far the best way to get action on sports and the best way to make watching sports fun. I cannot watch a game without having to play on Prize Picks. On Prize Picks, you're picking players instead of teams. So each player has a set stat projection. Say it's Patrick Mahomes, 250 yards passing. I just pick more or less for that stat and then pair it with a couple other players. And then boom, you can win up to like 10x your money. The best part for all of my podcast viewers and listeners, Prize Picks is giving you $50 in lineups when you play just $5 if you use code NEXTUP or the link in the description. That's code NEXTUP, link in description, and you get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. Go lock it in right now. And guys, showing Prize Picks support helps me in this podcast a ton. So sign up with code NEXTUP. Help me out a little bit. And I'm telling you, you won't regret it. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports. It's a lot of fun.
You know, there's been plenty of those things go on. I think it's so interesting that as you know, I get my first opportunity to be a head coach at a great place inside this conference. There's so much changing in college football. So there was no real manual. There's still no real manual for everything that's going on. So finding a way to figure it out, create advantage for your program, make the best of it, you know, make the roster as good as we possibly can, as fast as we possibly can. There really has been no book on what's gone on. And so, man, creating great support and having great leaders in each side or inside each of our departments inside the building has been huge for me. So that, again, I get to have the ability to go do what I need to do on Saturdays while still making sure programmatically we're doing the things we need to do to continue to grow.
Yeah. The momentum feels real around the program right now. I live in New York City, and I hear about Mississippi State, you know, and you look at the stadium. You mentioned what it's going to be like on Saturday. I feel like Starkville is a place when you start winning, like they're going to follow and they're going to come. That the community will rally around. Even social media numbers are exploding. Brandon on your team just sent me some stats. I mean, I think Mississippi State has the most social impressions in the country right now. Do you feel that energy day to day? Does it feel different when you're walking around campus, when you're walking around Starkville, and what does that mean for your program?
Yeah, I think the energy is very, very real. I think the belief is very real. Again, people inside our community and inside our university want Mississippi State football to be great. And there's that, it's always been that way. That's not anything new. I think for me, understanding what I was getting into, because there was some familiarity and knew how much our fan base loved our football here, was really important. And it is for me and for my family. It's this incredible fit, and there is real energy right now that we've got to continue to add to.
Yeah. You've talked about the effort and physicality and the execution as the DNA of this Mississippi State team. And I was reading about some of the things you had said before. The interesting piece is all the new players you've brought in from the portal and made this a new team. How do you take 60 plus new faces and get them to buy into that DNA of a team in such a short period of time?
Yeah, I think the good thing for us is that the guys that were coming back, whether it was the guys we chose to come back or wanted to be back, you know, as we got into last January, were guys that had real leadership ability, and they were guys that weathered the storm with us. They had great consistency through everything that we went through last year, and they were excited about the next opportunity. So I think that helped in a huge way with all the guys that we brought in January. We had a great off season from a winter workout standpoint, and then had 15 really, really physical practices in spring ball that I think helped set the tone of what fall camp was going to look like, and people understanding what we needed to look like on the practice field to, man, create an advantage. And then we got into fall camp, and it continued. Yeah. So I think it's a great credit to the entire staff, but really as much as anything, man, the guys that stuck with us and have given us the ability to go do what we want.
Yeah, nearly 80% of your roster is first or second year players, which is a remarkable stat. I feel like in the media world, the world I live in, there's a lot of negative talk around when teams have a lot of new players. You're like, oh, how are they going to build culture? How are they going to be cohesive? But on the flip side, I think there's an advantage too to having a lot of new players. If you want to shock the system a little bit, there's no better way than to bring in a bunch of guys from other big programs to come in. What's been the advantage? Like, what's been the reason that you leaned on so many new players in this program as you've rebuilt it?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just the immediate upgrade in roster, whether it's the defensive line, the linebacker position, receiver, whatever it was, us having the ability to upgrade the roster in a great way to just give us a chance. From one, to go practice the way we needed to practice, but two, have the real bodies to give us a chance on Saturday afternoons inside this conference. So that has without a doubt been the biggest plus of the portal and being able to change the roster.
Yeah. When thinking about last season, the 2-10 year that's been well documented, I thought when you watch the film and watch the games, that's a team that played hard. It's still the team never quit despite the tough season in the rebuild. Was there a moment during that time where you were kind of that allowed you to keep some hope in the rebuild process? Was there a game or a moment where you're like, man, like I know we didn't win that game, or I know that we're 2-10, but I see what's happening here, and it's gonna work in the near term?
Yeah, I think there were a couple of moments, whether it was us going on the road to Texas, and in the moment there was no moral victories, but it was understanding that our guys were fighting and they were believing in each other. They were fighting for each other, and whether it was that one or a couple other games that were later in the year, the last one last year, again, we're fighting like heck to go win those games because that's the expectation. That's what we needed to get done. We didn't, but from a reflection standpoint, man, I knew guys did believe, and they were listening to the message, and they were fighting for the entire staff and for the people inside this building, which again was something for us to go build on.
Yeah. For Mississippi State fans and people that follow college football, what's the identity you want people to see when they turn on the TV to watch Mississippi State football? When we say that's a Jeff Lebby team, what do you want that to mean?
Yeah, and it is. It's what we talk about and how we're going to win every single day. Effort, physicality, and execution. I want people to see us play incredibly hard with great violence and, man, be able to go execute. I think everybody understands how we're going to go play offensively. We're going to attack, and we're going to dictate how the game is played because of our tempo and the things that we're going to do to stress the other side of the ball. But as a football team, I want people to say, man, those guys play incredibly hard. They are violent when they play, and they execute at a really high level.
Yeah. I was reading about the investment that the administration's made in an indoor facility coming to Mississippi State, some of the investments around the program and NIL and in revenue sharing. I head coaches I've had on this show a lot talk about alignment and how important alignment is from the top down. How would you assess the alignment and basically the commitment from the administration at Mississippi State?
Yeah, I mean, credit to our administration for being able to do what we've been able to do over the last calendar year from a fundraising standpoint. Obviously, Zach and I have an incredible relationship. There's great alignment. There's incredible trust. Dr. Keenum, the longest tenured president in our conference, is as good as there is. So again, you talk about alignment. I can't imagine being in a situation that's any better, and that's huge for me. As we got into it, knew that we were going to have that being where we were from a program standpoint, knew that there was going to have to be great commitment, and man, we've got it to be able to go chase it and do it the way we need to do it.
Yeah. There's a noticeable difference when you watch this Mississippi State team on film from these first four games. I watched the Arizona State game back, and just the physicality, the talent, the offensive defensive lines, the way the offense is playing. During training camp, did you see signs of that? Was there a moment during camp or spring ball where you said, man, we may have a pretty good team here?
It was about halfway through spring ball, felt like we were going to be completely different defensively.
Yeah.
Again, nowhere close to where we need to be or where we're going, but knew that we were going to have a chance, and there was going to be this huge upgrade. And then as we got into fall camp, we signed 5 offensive linemen in the spring portal and 2 tight ends. The physicality on the offensive line got, marginally better when we got into fall camp, which we needed, and knew that, again, it was going to be a little bit of a work in progress up front as we get into this thing. But again, thought that we had changed that room in a great, great way to just give us a chance.
Yeah. One of the things that people in college football always associate you with is just great offense and offensive explosion and playing fast on offense and setting the tempo. When you're in, and this is kind of a football nerd in me, when you're in kind of day one install or day one of your offensive meetings, How do you describe your system? What do you call it? What are you saying on day one?
Yeah, we talk about, the very first thing being personnel placement, making sure that we're putting people in positions to have great success. And then we talk about spacing, obviously from a split standpoint, how we play, trying to create really clean pictures for the quarterback on a ton of normal downs because of how wide we play. The tempo piece of it, man, that being a great equalizer and a great edge and being able to use that as a weapon. And then making sure that we understand how we're going to push the ball down the field vertically to make people defend, every blade of grass. And so that's, philosophically kind of who we are and where we want to start. And I think that's where it is day one.
Yeah. When it comes to talent acquisition at Mississippi State, what's the biggest advantage you guys have? Maybe it's location, maybe it's the commitment, and then what's the biggest thing that you're constantly kind of battling with or competing with on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, I think from a high school standpoint, without a doubt, it's proximity to players, and talked about it a little
Yeah.
bit earlier. But man, we get in the car and drive. We don't need to get on a plane and go see a bunch of guys. It is 5 hours from where we're sitting
Yeah.
right now, and we can go fill a roster with great football players to be able to go compete at the highest level. I think the toughest thing that we face from a day-to-day standpoint is that everybody we're recruiting, so is everybody else around us. There's a bunch of great universities inside of 5 hours from where I'm sitting as well. And so that's a very real thing. Recruiting inside this conference it's an everyday deal. And man, if you're not doing it, somebody else is. And it's a real chase.
Yeah, not only the schools around you are going there to recruit, but everyone around the country is too, right? Every school
Exactly.
all over. And the
That's
great thing
exactly.
about where you're at is you got every position too. I mean, you got quarterbacks, offensive line play, there's skilled players. I mean,
Got
there's
them
a
all.
ton of talent. Yeah, got them all. Huge matchup this week against Tennessee, and this is a game that a lot of people are talking about. I mean, it's a matchup to as you sit there at 4-0, get a chance to really have a measuring stick against a really good SEC opponent that's playing good football. When you break down that matchup, what's the single key to Mississippi State pulling off a big win?
Yeah, I think for us, it's all going to be about the ball, man. It's going to be us taking care of it, fighting like heck to have 100% ball security offensively, and then defensively, man, it's finding a way to get it out. It's finding a way to get our hands on the football and create turnovers to get the ball back to us. I think it starts there, and then I think the next piece of it is explosive plays. Defensively, we've got to keep the football in front of us, and then we've got to be able to go make explosives offensively to be able to go get away.
Yeah. How was the locker room environment after that Arizona State win? Had to be a pretty cool scene.
There's no doubt about it, man. What it's all about. I talk about it all the time, but having a happy locker room, there's nothing better in the world. And
Yeah.
regardless of how you get there, man, finding a way to get in that locker room and celebrate together as a team and as a program. And you do all this stuff year round to get so few opportunities. You gotta enjoy those moments without
Yeah.
a doubt. And that was a great one.
Yeah, part of your job right now too, I'm sure, is making sure that the players on your team and in your program can handle success and can handle people like me talking about how good Mississippi State is right now after the first 4 weeks. And I think that's always a test, right? Because it's a lot of guys in that program haven't felt that for a while. How have
Right.
you handled that, and how have those conversations gone for you and the team?
Yeah, just always trying to stress, man, if we weren't going to listen to the bad, don't listen to the good either. And finding ways to block out the noise, and guys have a ton of noise, and man, making sure that the most important thing we do today is have the best day that we've ever had. It was Wednesday morning practice and meetings and a little extra film study this afternoon, and then tomorrow morning, no sweat Thursday. Again, making sure we're stressing, man, it's not another Thursday. It's the most important Thursday we've ever had. Why? Because it's the only one we got.
Yeah.
And that's the messaging. It's been very, very consistent. I think our guys are incredibly bought into it. There is great edge and a chip to be able to go prove who we want to be. We have the ability to write the story, and for our guys, they're excited about the opportunity with a great football team coming in here.
Yeah. Well, what's your approach to analytics as a head coach and the decisions that you make during a game, whether it's when to punt, when to go for it, when, the onside kick, 2-point conversions. How are you
Yeah.
approaching those decisions in the game? Are you following the book guy? Are you kind of going with your gut feel?
I, I think it's both. I really do. I believe that momentum is such a huge thing that the book can never measure, and I do. I believe in that. The book for me is a incredible resource, and I'm getting the information every single series, every single down when I'm asking for it or when I need it. But at the end of the day, as the play caller, man, gut instinct is a real thing. Momentum is a very real thing. So that's how we go about it.
Yeah. And then when you're on your -25, it's like 4th and 3, and the book says go for it. You're like, what the hell?
I'm gonna find go cover, play defense.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, one of the questions we get from fans that watches all the time with coaches is curious about the routine during football season. Take us through a day like today. It's like we're filming this on Wednesday. What's
Yeah,
are you like a 4 a.m. guy? When are you leaving the office? What's the daily routine look like in season?
I'm a 5:45. Walk into the office. I'll tell you the first thing I do Monday through Thursday is get in the cryo. So I walk in, hit the cryo, get that in for 3 minutes, and then man, I'm upstairs and depending on the day, depends on the situations or what I've got going every single morning. We're a morning format team, which I absolutely love, of course. So we get our guys early in the morning, and then obviously all afternoon. We're staff meeting, game planning, doing those things. Wednesday, lucky enough to be able to go do my radio show. So after this, got radio, and then Thursday morning, we'll be right back at it. So that's a kind of a glimpse of what it looks like.
How'd the cryo become a thing? Is that recent, or you been doing that for a while?
Been doing it for really since about July, since we got back in here. Love the plunge, and then have the cryo up here at the facility, down in the locker room for the guys. And so to me, it's a great way to get the day going.
Yeah, there's nothing that wakes you up better than cold. So if you're 5:45 in, that's an early wake up. Then there's a 4 on the alarm when it's going off.
Hey, but the best part about it, the house is about 4.5 minutes from the office.
Yeah.
So we're not dealing with much traffic, which I love.
That's the benefit of being in Starkville. That brings me to my next question I have for you. I was reading about some of the new development going on at Starkville, the Crossroads District, I think is what it was called, the development project coming up, and it's such a fast growing town, one of the best small towns in the South. Do you almost feel like the growth of Starkville is connected to the success and the growth of the football program a little bit?
I think it's a huge responsibility. Being the head football coach here, getting to sit in the chair I sit in every day, man, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Football has the ability to drive our community, and there's no doubt, like you can't hide from that. That's a very real thing, and want that for our town and our community. And it is. It's an incredible place. It's a special place that there's great connection. Again, there's great energy. There's passion for being great. And there is a responsibility for us, man, to go find a way to continue to create energy and go win and keep building this thing.
Yeah. You launched a program recently that prepares your players for life beyond football. And I think that's so important with NIL now, career prep and branding and leadership and what all that looks like. Why was that so important to you to personally implement that at Mississippi State?
Yeah, I think because, man, I've been there. We've all been there. Like again, the ball is going to go flat, and you're going to look up, and this real world is a very real thing. I'm so blessed to be able to get to do what I get to do every day. But for these guys, understanding what life's supposed to look like and having real vision for that and for where they're going, I think is incredibly important. We talk about the 40-year-old version of themselves, man, being proud of what decisions they're making today, and how do we find a way to continue to be our best every day, so that again that 40-year-old version is proud of the decisions. So we're fighting to do that every day. Got an incredible staff that heads up our dog program, which is it's incredibly different than 95% of places in America, and something that I'm passionate about and love to do.
Last few things I got for you, Coach. I appreciate your time, especially in game week. One of the biggest pieces of your job is hiring coaches, and a big viewership of this show is young coaches who want to be coaching at Mississippi State someday or coaching in Power 4 football, what are the things that you look for in young coaches that make you say, hey, this guy could be a position coach for me, or this guy could be a coordinator someday?
Yeah, I talk about this all the time, man. But guys that have great initiative, that can fix problems, that are great teammates. And to me, it's the same thing that we're looking for in great players. Like, you want a great teammate, guy that's going to have great initiative and that can figure something out. And for us, that's how we want to grow young coaches nonstop. To me, it's still servant leadership. If I don't, they won't. And from the standpoint of having energy and being connected and being approachable and being available and being a great teammate every single day. I think that's a huge piece of as we get into this thing, man, making sure that we're finding ways to do those things.
Yeah. When it comes to evaluating talent of high school or transfer portal players, are there any non-negotiables you guys have at Mississippi State, or anything that you say, hey, if this is on the background, or if this person doesn't say nice things about him, like, we're not touching it? How do you kind of handle that in the evaluation process?
It's so position specific, and to
Yeah.
me, it's about us getting all the information, and then we're the ones that get to decipher whether or not we want them to go down that road or we don't. And it is so specific to each individual person, each individual student athlete, that we've got to do a great job of gathering all the information, and then that's at the end of it, that's up to us to make that decision.
Yeah. If I ask you not about wins and losses, but more about the impact you have at this place at Mississippi State, what would you hope that your players say about you 10 years from now?
Yeah, I hope they were to say, man, this guy's got great consistency. He loved us. He coached us hard. He loved us hard. He held us accountable, and he was in it for all the right reasons. And that's, to me, being relational, being exactly who I'm supposed to be every single day. I hope these guys see that, know that, and are appreciative of that in the next 10 years for sure.
Yeah. When you think about the climb from 2-10 to where you are now, and the excitement, the attention that Mississippi State's getting right now, what do you want fans to know about where this program is headed?
Yeah, and we're not done. We're just getting started, and I'm going to continue to talk about that. And I think at some point I will reflect, but right now it's about Saturday at 3:15 and taking great care of the ball, getting the ball back, being great situationally, and finding a way to win. And then we're going to reset and we're going to do it again. But that's the part of it, as you're inside this league, the day to day, and how you get to chase it, man. The people that we get to coach against, the guys we get to go play against, it's what it's all about. And I've got full attention on Saturday and having the ability to go win.
Yeah, I'm asking you questions about 2 years ago, and you're just trying to get the Saturday kickoff, right?
No doubt.
My last question for you, Coach. This one's not about Saturday, but I ask every coach I talk to this question because I think there's something more that drives people that get to the success you've had. What's your why? What's the reason you do what you do every day?
Man, it's all about my family, and it's about showing young people what it's supposed to look like, or giving them hope in their journey, and taking young people places they can't take themselves. But my why every single day is, and who I'm doing it for, is without a doubt, man, my family, and for these guys that I get to interact with every single day. Man, it's special, and giving them opportunity to go chase this thing called life is, to me, what it's all about.
I love it. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time, especially during game week. It's been fun to follow your success and your career. Congrats on the great start, and excited to watch you guys the rest of the season.
All right, Adam. Appreciate it, brother.
Next up.